Well, good evening, talkers. You have landed on Let's Talk News, and I'm your host, Leticia Romero. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. And if you're joining us from wherever, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X, make sure to like, subscribe to the page, especially if you're on YouTube. I need one more subscriber to get to 700, and that's what we're looking for. Actually, we're looking for 1,000, but at least we've been building up. So share it with your friends. It's free to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, but it makes a big difference in how the algorithm sends the show out to people. Sorry, I forgot to shut my ringer off. I'll do that in a minute. Let's see who's with us. Hello, Francine. Good to have you. Thank you for joining. Hello, Karen, Christy, Justin. Good to have you. And I enjoy being watched by you. And thank you so much for your support and your comments. We're going to talk today about, have you all heard, people say that, Trump is prosecuting Maduro, but he pardoned narco kingpin. Have you all heard that? We're going to dive a little bit into that and see what that was all about, because we wanted to stay educated, right? We want to know what's going on. So we're going to talk about that today. And we're also going to talk quickly about vaccines. Hello, Debbie Lebedo. Hello, Lucille. Oh, well, thank you. I have dirty hair. Sometimes when I have dirty hair, it's better. But I have my big glasses on, which is why I'm going to look down a little bit so that you don't see the ring light reflection in them. The reason I have the big glasses on is because my eyes hurt. I don't know why, but my eyes are really weak today. So, hi, Angela, Ricka, darling. How are you? So, anyway, I don't know where to start. There's so much to talk about. Why don't we talk about the pushing and pulling that is going on over at The View, because it's so interesting that Whoopi Goldberg was condemning Trump and the law enforcement action against Maduro. And Ana Navarro kind of gave her what for. And I liked what Ana said, which was interesting. And not that I love everything or much of what The View says, but if people could act more like Anna is acting and Fetterman, I think that we could get a lot of things done for America. And it just seems that the Democrats and the left don't want to do that. They don't want to get a lot of things done for America. They just want to condemn Trump because they think somehow that makes them more electable. And I just don't think that's so. Right now, the Republicans are only trailing by 4 points for the midterm election, by the polling that's going on now. And that's without all the economy kicking in. And believe me, the economy is kicking in. So I think that by the time we get to the summer, the Democrats are going to have to start singing a different tune if they want to have a shot at getting reelected or even taking back the House. But I don't think it's going to work for them. I just don't. I think that too much good is going on. Hello, Andrew Dorman. Never watched that show. Neither do I. But every once in a while, it comes across my feed. Clips come across my feed. And this one was worth it. Okay, let me just find it and let's talk about it. Okay, here we go.
Your question, who voted for this? The people in South Florida, the Venezuelan community, the Cuban American community, the Nicaraguan American community voted for this. And for us, this is a very happy day when we see a dictator who has been part of oppressing and abusing the Venezuelan people for 25 years. When we see him in handcuffs and held to some sort of accountability, it brought me into tears. It brought me great joy. And, I live in South Florida.
But are you okay with the way that it was done?
But you can, I think both things can be true.
Okay.
I think you can criticize and ask questions and have concerns about the way it was done and what this means in the future.
Right.
And I think you can still celebrate that this murderous, corrupt, sadistic son of a bitch is out of Venezuela.
Yeah.
Because he has, I think there's 8 million Venezuelan exiles all over the world. People have fled from this man's tyrannical rule. So
Okay, so she said it. She said what Venezuelans are saying all around, and not just Venezuelans, as she rightly stated, Nicaraguans, people, a lot of people who have been living under a dictatorship, a lot of South America countries that were once democracies who somehow or another found themselves disenfranchised and voting for would be dictators, and losing everything in the mix. I mean, from Cuba to Venezuela, so many, and New York is on its way going that way because they're selling a lie, and the news media works with them to sell the lie. Let's see who joined us. Yeah, it was good. It was really good what she said. Hi, Kevin. Good to have you. Yeah, but see, that's the whole thing. There was a time in this country when we would do that, right? When both sides would have conversations and they disagree with some things, but they'd work together for the betterment of the country. I mean, even us with Biden, with all that he was doing the last 4 years or not doing the last 4 years, you didn't see Johnson telling people to, telling the military to disobey orders, or saying just ignore the laws or the rules. Today's January 6th, and most of the Democrats were playing that tired old song about the 2021 inauguration. And nobody was getting traction on it, but it doesn't stop them from playing the tired old song. They just don't understand that the American people are smarter than they think. The way it was done was perfection. She's only keeping her job with her comment about how it was done. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. But here's the thing. I talked about the other, drug kingpin, the president of Honduras. His name was Juan Orlando Hernandez, and he was prosecuted by the Biden administration for being for being an illegitimate president and for enabling drugs, cocaine, to be run out of Honduras. And maybe ironically, he was the right wing party in Honduras. And so the Biden administration decided that they wanted, let me see if I say her name right, Zarera Castro, to be the new president, who happened to belong to the left wing party. And so they endorsed her. And here's a picture. Hold on. Here's a picture. Here is a picture of her, of Kamala Harris. Where is she? I think this is, yeah. Here's a picture of the vice president at her inauguration, as Castro's inauguration. And by the way, she was the first female president of Honduras. And so Biden, because it wasn't Joe, it was, Tweedle nothing upstairs and Tweedledummer. So it was probably Obama that decided to help get rid of Hernandez and to install Castro. And the interesting thing was that they said that his re-election, was illegal because they said he wasn't entitled to run for a second term, but the judges allowed him to run for a second term. They said the judges were installed by him. True, they were, and I get it. I'm with it. But they also said that he was covering up for drug dealers, and he said. Hernandez said that he was set up by the drug dealers. And when he lost and Castro won, he left his office and he tried to run for Congress. But the Biden administration extradited him from the country. And Castro was very happy to cooperate with the Biden administration to extradite him. He stood trial in New York, and he received 45 years as a sentence. Trump ultimately pardoned that 45-year sentence. And I'm not going to tell you why he did it. I'm going to let him tell you why he did it. But just so that you know that when the Biden administration endorsed Castro, it was with the understanding that she would stand with them against America's enemies. And in March of 2022, Castro decided to end Honduras's relationship with Taiwan and instead started playing footsie with China, our enemy. Well, maybe not under Biden. Biden saw them as a friend that was feeding us, right, as dollars in the pocket, and so did Newsom. But anyway, their girl flipped and decided to support China. Hi, Colleen. Good to have you. Hello, Susan. Subsequently, Trump, after he got the backstory and pardoned Hernandez, he endorsed the conservative in the race, the president, and that man won. Najri, I can't. Let me see if I can remember his name. Hold on a second. What was his name? Najri something or another. Anyway, he won. He was the Conservative Party, and he wound up winning the race. But anyway, here, listen.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was convicted on many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different?
Well,
and would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Did you notice at the top it said, these statements have not been verified by USA Today? Well, who the fuck are you, USA Today? The president of the United States is telling you what happened, and you decide what's factual and what's not? Really? So is that where we are in this country now? The newspapers know better than the people who are actually doing the work. The candidate's name was Nasri Ashfura. And here he is, Trump-backed candidate, declared winner of Honduras presidential vote. And oh, by the way, it took them months to declare him a winner. There was a three-way race. It took months. Interesting, right? Interesting that they had the same problems counting votes as a lot of places, including America on occasion. But anyway, that's so. Now, the question is, who do you believe? Do you believe Trump? Do you believe Tweedledee D and Tweedledee Dumber and Biden? Who do you believe when it comes to the truth? The Democrats are going to tell you that they will believe anybody but Trump. And that has led them to be taking the side of dictators on many occasions, including in this race in Honduras, right? Trying to put their guy in jail, actually succeeding in putting the opposition in jail. They used another country, unfortunately ours, but they'll stop at nothing. And this is what's happening to the Democrat Party, is that they're not reporting properly the news. They are reporting the news with a slant, and somehow or another, they'll believe anything that comes out of a Democrat's mouth, but not a Republican president. That I have a real problem with. And anyway, my husband subscribed to your YouTube channel, but it still says $6.99. Oh, Francine, I'm sure it's gonna. Hopefully, it'll jump in a minute. Otherwise, somebody might have unsubscribed. Who knows? But thank you. Say thank you for me. I'm glad he explained. Yeah, he needed to explain, but not that. Did you see it anywhere, Kyle? Have you seen any of the legacy media reporting it? No, you don't see that kind of stuff. USAID is about to be caught in drug trafficking. Yes, not only drug trafficking, but also they were playing with, they were paying for the use or the development of voting machine tabulators for many countries, not the United States. Very interesting. Hi, Mickey Petrides. Good to have you. Yes, indeed. The media is anti-American. They are. And I'm finding, well, first of all, we've established that many of them are run and owned by Iran and China and other entities other than America, which is why we need to have these independent journalists go out and do the work. Did anybody see the kid, Nick Sorter, who went to Minneapolis, I think it was, to the Hilton, that refused to give rooms or rent rooms to DHS? If not, I'm going to play it right now. This kid is amazing. I didn't see this on any other news station except for Fox, and I didn't see it in any of the newspapers. But this kid went there and verified watch.
Oh yeah, I know that could be.
Did you already make reservations by any chance?
No.
No? What's
First.
the name?
It would be just Nick. I'll just put it under my personal. I don't know if you can use a government rate or not, but.
Let's see. It depends because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Is it, what agency is it for? Using the government rate?
They'd be Department Homeland Security.
So we're not accepting people from immigration, ICE agents, DHS into our property. It's just our management ownership.
Oh, okay, I thought that changed today. Was that?
I just talked to my the owner of the building, and he didn't say there has been any changes. So
really, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just policy, that.
Yeah.
Just policy of the Hilton not to rent rooms to DHS agents, even though they're being paid and they're guaranteed payment. How's that? Just absolutely insane. But did you read it anywhere? Did you see it anywhere? I didn't come across my feed. Only one channel covered it, starting with yesterday. DHS put it out on their X. That's how I found out about it yesterday. Hilton said, they were going to, handle it, and that they were going to look into it. And then they said today that they took the name. They were no longer allowing this hotel to use their name. But the kid went back today and said that they were still asking for Hilton honors, whether you were Hilton honors card holder. So it was all lip service. So just, so this is what's going on. The people who are claiming that Trump is doing things illegally are the people who are not cooperating with police, with the federal government, who are not obeying the laws of the country when it comes to immigration. We have judges that are breaking their backs and twisting the Constitution on its ear to oppose a president and the will of the people. And they're trying to legislate from the bench. We have a news media that says they haven't fact checked the president's statements. Well, who are they going to fact check it with? Do they have somebody on the inside of the CIA? Do they have somebody on the inside of the White House? No. So they're not going to fact check it. They're just going to decide what they feel like, or they're going to look for old news articles. And that's it. Or they'll talk to Democrats. This is becoming a clown show. It truly is. The media, all of it is becoming a clown show. Is Venezuela in charge of voting machines? Well, I can't remember which country, the USA, it might have been Venezuela. They were developing voting machines for third world countries. CIA involved in voting machines in other countries. There you go. Yes, he was great, the kid. Okay. I thought Hilton issued an apology. Yes, it did. And still happening. So, yeah, it is unreal. It's unreal, and it's horrible. All Hiltons. Well, this one was Minnesota, Minneapolis, I think it was, Lakeview. And they're all independently owned and operated. Hello, Mama. I'm glad you remembered us. So, just so that we understand here that Trump is, once again, Trump and the millions of people that voted for him, we're all facing an uphill battle because nothing that is done is easy. Everything is done kind of like, what was her, Ginger Rogers, right? And Fred Astaire. She did everything Fred Astaire did, but she did it backwards and in high heels. Everything Trump is doing is more difficult than it needs to be. You don't have to agree with what he's doing, but you do have to put America first and to pretend that his capture of Maduro, his taking care of business, his protecting the United States interests in South America, in this region, in making sure that China, Russia, and Iran do not get their hands on that Venezuelan oil that will put them above us as a superpower, or at least get them, elevate them quite a bit, make them super strong. To pretend that this is not a brilliant strategy to protect America is the most traitorous thing that they could possibly do. And to not report it properly is also traitorous. And for those useful idiots who believe that socialism is going to save them and that, are standing out in the streets protesting, while the people of Venezuela who have been suffering because they voted wrong and they believe the wrong guy, if they don't open their eyes and see what's going on, we're doomed. We are doomed because everything is media now. So I'm hoping that people like Soder and others are going to get the message out. But I haven't seen it anywhere else. This just proves how corrupt the three branches of government has been corrupted, included the legacy media. So much to expose. Yeah, there is. The fourth estate is corrupted. It is not for America. And listen, let's not pretend that the Republicans were any better than the Democrats in the past. Because there were problems with Bush 1, with Bush 2. There were problems with Reagan. There were problems with all the Republicans as well as all the Democrats. Just remember, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So it's up to us, the people, not to sleepwalk through this shit and to call them out. But we stopped. We became pussies. We started going, oh, I apologize for being a white man and aggressive. And I apologize for wanting to put America first. And I apologize for not wanting to give up half my salary in taxes so that supposedly poor people in our country could eat. There was a day when it was the church that used to feed the poor. There was a day and a time when it was community organizations and volunteers that did not get money from the government that took care of the poor. There was a time that happened in America. Suddenly, though, and I don't know where, and maybe in 2000, maybe 1990s, all of a sudden these nonprofits started cropping up, and we started giving them millions of dollars to play God and mommy and daddy. And oh my God, isn't it amazing that we're working half a year and giving half our salaries to the government. And now we find out that we're not just feeding the people of America. We are feeding people all over the world. We are not even feeding people. We're just buying them luxury cars and houses with our tax dollars. And who has been at the helm as this has been happening? Republicans and Democrats. Trump is the only one that exposed it. And we all better take issue and take note and get wise to it. Because I got to tell you, I'm fed up by it. And if they expose one more corrupt thing, I can't even take it. Colleen had posted today that who was it? Capitol Police, I can't remember. The guy that shot Ashley Babbitt on January 6th, his wife runs a daycare center and takes money from the government for it. Millions from the government for it, out of the house. Are we kidding? What is going on? What is going on? I don't think taxpayers should reimburse the oil companies. You know what? I don't know. I don't know why we would, unless the oil companies are going to give us stuff. If we're going to buy something, then okay. But I don't know that was true. He said may, and there was a lot of things behind the may. But you can't just take the words that he says on the plane. He says a lot of things so that he plays a shell game. So wait until he asks us to do it before we decide what's going on. I've learned not to ever jump on anything Trump says. I wait. Mamdani and Hochul screwed New Yorkers yesterday. Transit fare. Mamdani lied really bad to the people. That transit would be free. 100%. Of course, it's a lie. Every time a socialist or a communist tells you life is going to be better, it's a lie. If everything is going to be equal, then I expect that you can march into City Hall and start using, the government facilities to do whatever it is you want, right? Because nobody should be in charge. It's a socialist country. Everything should be spread out evenly, or city. Trump cannot be put on a leash. That's their issue with him. He's off and running, exposing it all. Even if nothing happens to these criminals in the deep state, at least it's exposed. Yes. And at least people think twice before paying a tax bill. Mamdani also said he was briefed on Maduro, but lied because he doesn't have clearance. He wasn't briefed on Maduro. He called the president to register his complaint, and Trump told him, fuck off. Socialism would not save anyone. It can lead to the new beginning of social hindrance. Well, we see that. It's never worked once. Technology put us to sleep. Now we are awake. Trump woke us up. You're absolutely right about that. The churches are still feeding the poor, and nonprofits and government crazy, and every other commercial is asking for money. But they're getting reimbursed by the government taxpayers. They're getting paid. You look at what Catholic Charities did to our country, pushing all those people through the border. I can't even. Kevin J. Young and people believe him. The governor and MTA board have to agree to it. Yeah, well, they just had a fare hike. So, yes, let's see. I think sometimes Trump talks too much. Today, addressing the GOP was strenuous to hear. I couldn't stay focused on what he was saying. Too much. I say it all the time. He gives too much access to people. He should give less access. Hi, Gloria. And according to Melania, he should dance less. Okay, quickly, let's talk about vaccines. So I'm not going to show you the clip, but basically here's what's going on. Kennedy adjusted the CDC list of mandated vaccines, and he removed a few of them, like hepatitis A and B and some other things. And now that doesn't mean that you can't have the vaccine. That means it's not mandatory. There are recommendations that for people with who are at high risk. There are but for healthy babies, the vaccine recommendation schedule is much different and much less than it used to be. And Democrats are losing their mind over it. Why? Why are Democrats losing their mind over parents making choices? Why would a baby need a shot for hepatitis at birth? Why? I haven't had one doctor tell me why every baby in America needs to have a vaccine against hepatitis at birth. I want to know the answers to this. But no, that's not the way it is. What's going on is that the left has doctors going, oh, he's going to kill everybody. The country's going to be sick. We're all going to die. No, that's not going to happen. Explain why it should happen, and then let the parent and the doctor decide. Doctors I don't even know why they go to school for so much, because they rely so much on technology and insurance companies to diagnose that, there's no such thing anymore about doctors doctoring, so I just, yeah, it's crazy. They're calling for RFK to be fired or resign. I love RFK too. Crazy the babies get Hep B at 18 hours old. Yeah. So tell me why. One of these big mouth Democrats doctors needs to tell me why. And let me just say this. We did a show about how Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the squad all got interviewed like actors, and then helped to get elected. She was a bartender. I'm supposed to trust her knowledge of what my baby should do? No. The government needs to get their hands off of healthcare. And I love that Trump is talking about healthcare in the midterm elections. Let's talk about it. Let's unravel the freaking knot that the Democrats have made out of this whole healthcare system. Let's take the money away from the insurance companies, put it in the hands of the people. Let's go back to the way things were in the past. Democrats are losing their mind because the insurance companies are their money train. Yes. And so are the dictators, apparently. And so are, so are these people that they let through the border. And now the Venezuelans are all pissed at them. And I'm ecstatic. And Amanda's sticking his nose into issues with World Cup tickets. Maybe somebody should remind him that the World Cup will be in MetLife Stadium, which is New Jersey, not New York. I hate him. Oh, Mamdani. Yeah. Well, listen, if you believe Mamdani wants equality for everyone, you're crazy. You're smoking it. And I mean, we see what happens with socialism. It inevitably turns into communism or dictatorship. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And if you want socialism, then get the fuck out of America, because America is a constitutional republic. We don't believe in socialism. There are plenty of countries that do. Move there. Don't try to change America. We've survived 250 years as a constitutional republic, and we will continue. And we're the world dominator, and we're going to continue in that track. All right, I went over again. Thank you all for commenting. They had some kind of Muslim music playing in New York City today, I heard. Did you hear about that? I did. I heard that's a call to prayer. I saw that on social media. I don't know if it's true. If it is, that's very unusual. I don't know, but they do it in London, so who knows? If America goes socialist, there will be nowhere left to go. That's true. That's true. Unless some other country like Venezuela gets their shit together and they become a constitutional republic, maybe we'll all be going south and being in the sun, because it was a beautiful country once. Okay, everybody, I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you so much for all tuning in. Love you. Share. One